It's the Get Up and Shine Show, where your host Lillian Taylor brings you intimate and inspiring interviews from people who faced off with serious life struggles and prevailed. As our guests revisit with the moments, realizations, and tools that helped them break through, you might just walk away more empowered in your own life. It's that time. Get up and shine.
Hi, this is Lillian Taylor with Get Up and Shine.
You know this is coming from your inner self. This is one of the reasons that you're here. That doesn't mean that I'm going to have this straight shot, but it does mean that I need to keep myself open because what you learn every day.
In this final segment of our interview with Milana Walter, she mentors us in a wide range of best practices for self-mastery. No matter what industry you're in, or what challenges you are facing, the wisdom that follows is sure to add value to your life. All right, girl.
Men in my life. Oh, my God. I have had to learn that I have to look out for myself in relationships because I get all in, especially in a marriage. I have learned that I've been blindsided because I've been so totally distracted. And what was I distracted from? I was on a mission to make it. We were going to make you and I against the world. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And you think that your partner's in there with you?
Surprise.
And okay, now understand, I'm not taking responsibility for my part. If there's not been anything other than this in terms of a takeaway for me, it is that for me not to operate in some kind of abyss when I am in a relationship.
Abyss? What do you mean? Basically
that I'm taking things for granted.
Oh, okay.
That the person is on the same page that I am. Communication. Articulate what it is that you really are doing and what you want to accomplish, and that this person is in on it.
Right.
But in the meantime, I've had to learn that I needed to control my own money.
Right, definitely.
Because, when you're an entrepreneur and you have that kind of mentality, it's like you want to get this thing done. But the thing that is really very, very important in getting something done is that you have to do the numbers.
Absolutely. You better know those numbers.
You got to know your numbers.
And you also have to be able to make choices and be able to say no. This is not the way we're heading.
You got to be able to say no.
Yeah.
And walk away. Some of the major lessons that I have learned is that how to say no and to walk away. I'm real good at walking away if I really don't feel something is right. That came from experience. It is very, very, very essential. And you've got to do your homework. You have to do your due diligence. There is a Zen saying that is one of my favorites. It says, lessons are repeated until they are learned. I remember the first time I heard that. It was so on point because I thought I had learned some lessons. It's for them to circle back around and have a different face, a different outer shell, but then be the same damn lesson.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What kind of progress did I really make? But yeah, you did make progress because sometimes you have to go through something a couple of times in order to really get the essence of it.
And also to realize what your function is in it.
Exactly.
That you are actually actively doing and making choices that land you in that position.
And it is a learning experience.
It is.
And you don't learn from la-la.
Don't learn from doing it perfect.
You learn from the grit. You learn from the struggle, okay? You learn from mistakes. That's been something that is very important, that you have mentors. I have been interviewing a lot of successful people over the last few years. Making mistakes is all part of it. You make a mistake, don't shut down. You may stumble and you may want to feel like you want to shut down. And if you do shut down for a little bit and get over it. because that's how you learn. It is how you learn. You have to put yourself out there, but you have to have done your homework. And you could have everything in place you think, but it doesn't work out. It's not an indictment on your mentality or your inability to be able to do something. It's just that it is. And there's a lesson that you needed to learn in order to strengthen something in you or to be aware of something in you so that you can move forward. You know, it's like we're in this big graduation. We're in class. Okay, so we move from one class to another. Oh, we passed that class. Okay, and then let's move to the next one, and next one, and next one. When you realize that this is really kind of the model that life is in many ways, that it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, all right? Who the hell wants to, be knocked down, But you know what I'm saying.
Well, it's a great analogy if you think about, okay, first you study arithmetic and then geometry, and then what, calculus? But you learn a certain level of that lesson, but then there's more complexity that comes the next time, and you have a better set of tools and a broader scope of understanding to take it on again, and to improve that layer. And that's great because that reflects that there's progress. It isn't just being in the same place, making the same stupid mistake over and over and over again. No, every time you learn something, you are better.
I have a client who has an extremely successful business. He is a staunch believer in mentors, and basically saying, I want someone to advise me as to how they did it. Like, for instance, if you're in the tech business, well, if you're going to pick a mentor, pick a mentor. Pick the most successful person that you can imagine and reach out to them. Respect their time, but say, look, I'm trying to do something, and I would like to know, if you don't mind, if you would share with me how you did it. Now, obviously, we can read books, you can do this, but my client has a list of about 60 mentors over the years and 20 active ones.
What? Where does he find the time?
He finds the time because he says it's important.
All right.
He finds the time because it's a priority.
And it shortcuts time he would otherwise be wasting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Where you're dancing around in a circle, he goes straight to the source. And the source will say, well, I was in that position once or twice, and this is what I did, and this is how it came out, or this is what you need to do.
Or don't do this.
Or don't do. And it is so important to have mentors. And I remember I have asked some people to be mentors, and they didn't necessarily want to be my mentor, but that's okay. So you keep on asking. There's a couple of people that I have as mentors, and there's a couple more that I'm going to have. It's very, very important that you have people in your camp who are smarter than you, who have more experience than you in the area that you want to play in that sandbox. And it's like lessons are repeated until they are learned. So doggone it, learn them, Learn them from different ways. I mean, obviously people have different, paths. Just like, for instance, I've always wanted to have a talk show, not just a talk show, but a series on TV. So I reached out to Oprah.
Oh, cool.
I didn't get Oprah, but I got like a number 3 person in her organization and got some feedback, got some advice, things like that. I mean, this is just an example, but you got to go for it. It's kind of like, okay, I'm scared, but you do it anyway.
Yeah. I don't
want to jump, but you jump anyway.
Yes.
So you do it. It saves yourself a lot of time, a lot of frustration, and money, and absolute money. I know through my experiences how to trust my instincts. I do not second guess my instincts. I used to.
Oh, okay.
I'd feel it, but then I feel like I didn't know enough. And am I really supposed to walk away, or is that just kind of fear? What is that? And I think it takes maturation. It takes commitment. It's really a lot of self-work, inner work, on yourself, meditation, connection to your higher power, to trust it. I know what I do, and this is me. I ask God every morning, please direct my steps, my words, and my deeds. And there are some times when you're on automatic pilot and you go ahead and you do something before you're like, wait a minute, let me back this up a little bit. Should I make that move, or am I on automatic pilot?
Yeah.
Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the push that other people will give you.
Yes.
That people love giving advice, and sometimes it can be the most salient advice for their lives, or generally speaking, but without knowing your particular constitution and your precise values and what it is you're trying to fulfill in your life, they can't really make that decision for you. And you have to be, for me, the lesson has been, one of the big lessons has been being brave enough to say, yeah, that makes perfect sense, and that is exactly what somebody else should do, but it's not my path.
And that's what people have to learn to do.
Yeah.
When we say about saying no, we don't necessarily mean abruptly, mean, angry or something. What I'll do, first of all, I'm not going to sit there and listen to something and I know it's not for me. I'm not going to do it. I've learned to value my time. I think that started when I was in my 40s. Something happened then, and now I have to pretend like I want to do something I don't want. I can say no, Somehow you get the strength that you know what you know, and that's not ego, but that you know what you know, and that, yes, you're open, because I'm a lifelong learner, and you're open to learn new things, but there's some things that you know are not for you.
Right.
So why are you going to sit there and stand there and let this person waste your time? Sometimes I just walk away and I'll say something, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, but I have to go. And I always do it with love.
Yeah.
But it's like, let me get the hell out of here. I mean, seriously. It's like, oh my God, But because some people are very self-righteous in what they want to do. And like you were talking earlier, when you were smaller, when you were younger, being discouraged because people were fearful that you'd be a starving artist and da-da-da. Well, you know what? People had a limited life. Exposure. I mean, now we're in a different time.
Right. I think for the most part, I haven't had a luxurious life, but I certainly have not, or with very rare exceptions, struggled.
Yeah.
I've been very comfortable, and I've spent a lot of time, and I mean, years at a time, not having to work. I had no choice. I am just not made of that stuff that allows you to just sit someplace where you don't want to be for years at end. I just can't. I don't even know how anybody does it. I don't have the fiber to make myself do it.
Well, that's the thing too, is self-knowledge. Is know who you are. I mean, know what fits for you. And I get it. I get it. Just like me in corporate America, we are not on the same page, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I remember the time I was like, so what are we going to wear? Should we wear business suits? The look you gave me, you're like, I'm not having anybody tell me what I'm going to wear anyway. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I'm too at a point where I'm just like...
You're done.
I'm just, sometimes I have to say, Milana, just chill out.
You're
okay?
free. You're free.
Yeah. You just get to a point where time is so important.
Yes.
I have lost friends who are younger than me. And it's like, oh my God, they're gone.
Right.
I don't know how much time I have left, but the time that I'm here, I want to at least be on point for what all these experiences, all this revelation has pointed me in the direction for me to go ahead and do it. And I've had to make decisions. I mean, I lost a lot of money during the Great Recession.
Right.
In fact, I still don't have it back. But I'm not in that mentality. It crushed me. But I have learned to meet myself where I am now. And that took some work.
Yes, it does.
But the thing is that, Yeah. So you're going to either waste your time trying to meet yourself where you were before and put yourself down because you're not there anymore and you're not doing this and that and that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a process. But it's like, okay, how long am I going to go through this process? Mm-hmm. All right? So if I have to do something else, it doesn't mean that I'm leaving my dream.
Right.
It's that it doesn't mean that my purpose is over, because I'm going to find my purpose in anything that I do. Mm-hmm. Okay. It may seem like it's a sidestep, but then there's this underlying thing that is still growing. I'm still learning something new because I figured that I'm put in there because not to waste my time,
but to capture something.
Exactly. And use the time that's there for something to add on to the purpose. Right. When you look at that whole thing, and at this time and age, people don't have 25 years in one job and stuff. We are bivocational, trivocational. We do more than one thing. It's okay if you have to go over here to do something and over here. It's not like the end of the road. I used to think it was the end of my life. If I had to shift gears and I had to do this, I didn't realize to keep my mind and my heart open, because in any situation, you're going to get information that's going to make it even better or stronger. And you're going to have a takeaway. And so to add it on to what you're doing, like, I started writing success stories for this magazine for business people, and I loved doing that, but that wasn't my TV series, was it? Then I ended up working on a TV series and got an Emmy for that, and that was good. But then again, so trying to keep going on that, well, there wasn't another opportunity. Does that mean I shut down? No. Let me find something else. And so as I'm working on, because my goal is here, I know where I'm going. It may not be that straight route that I thought, and it really rarely is.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So the zigzag thing and the circling and around and up and down and sideways and all that kind of stuff, you just got to be ready for the ride.
And the pause.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. The pause.
Like,
and let us not even talk about the shutdown.
Reboot. Yeah.
But the thing is that you don't lose sight. If you really believe, really believe, and Lily and I know that's probably where you are too, you know who you are. You get it now. You get it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
No one can talk you out of it.
No.
Because it's bigger than, it's not about other people.
Right.
You know this is coming from you, from your inner self. And that this is your purpose in life. This is one of the reasons that you're here.
Right.
And so, okay, got it. That doesn't mean that I'm going to have this straight shot, but it does mean that I need to keep myself open, because what? You learn every day. You don't just shut down learning. You know, I've learned things about other people. You know, at one point I was in the recovery, the treatment industry, which I've never been in. Mm-hmm. And I always said, what the heck am I doing over here? Mm-hmm. But you know what? I was mentoring people who were trying to get back in life after a mental breakdown. You know, now we're talking a lot about mental health, but there's so many people that have had breakdowns. Mm-hmm. And they are smart. And they are many college educated, and there's this pressure and stress of life that have broken people down. I mean, we look at all this mental illness now that people are now outwardly speaking of,
finally,
such as anxiety.
Yes.
It's like every time you look around, someone has anxiety. I've had anxiety, such as depression. I've had depression and didn't realize that's what it was, or did not want to realize that what it was. So what was that? Denying it. Maybe subconsciously denying it. Did that help me get any treatment? Did that help me address it? Because it takes a lot. You know, now we learn about trauma with children, especially in that age group from 5 to like 15, mm-hmm. things that have happened to kids. And what does a child do? They shut it down. They don't know what to do with that. So you push it down, you push it down, you push it down. I know me as a grown woman has pushed down hurt, has pushed down trauma and drama, mm-hmm. and pretended like it was okay and let me get going. You know,
right.
All right now, girl. All All right, let me just move on. You ain't going to put me down. Okay, that's really wonderful and cavalier, but what have you really done for yourself? You know?
Right.
What is that, Janet Jackson? What have you done for me lately? You know, what have I done for myself lately, but push it down, thinking that it's going to stay down? It doesn't stay down. Mm-hmm. And it comes popping up at the most inopportune time.
Doesn't it, though?
Oh, my God. And it's like it has all these tentacles.
And it's confusing.
Like this monster.
Yes, and it's confusing. You're like, who are you? What do you want?
It's like, get away. You know?
Why are you messing with my life right now? This is not,
Yeah. So it behooves us to understand the tools of self-care and self-growth. Mm-hmm. Understand that when you are facing adversity, trauma, don't be ashamed. You can reach out and get some help. I know I got some help finally, and it made a tremendous difference in my life. I had lost my mojo. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't, getting ready to jump off a bridge, and I don't say that lightly, but I shut down. It made me shut down. I would do what I needed to do. I'd go to the job, and then I'd go home, and I'd have a list, but nothing would get done once I got home because I would be almost like paralyzed. I didn't have no more juice left. You don't realize that's what was going on. And I was really fortunate that I was able to then be in that environment where I didn't think I should have been in the first place.
To see.
Right.
And be informed about what was happening with yourself.
Nice. Yeah, because it just so happened that there was a lot of therapists there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they were talking about it. And it was like, okay, all right. So it made me look into, okay, I need to take care of this.
Yeah.
I thought it was what they call situational depression, just from a situation, and once the situation left, then the depression leaves. No.
Yeah.
And so many of us, especially females, especially women, there's so many things that we're dealing with, now with the Me Too movement, so many things we suppressed. Now we've just regurgitated everything, I mean, now it's like getting crazy.
Yeah, I think it's only the tip of the iceberg.
Oh my God. And I know for me, I would have never spoken about depression, me being depressed. Mm-hmm. Now I do, because I realize it's important that if I have any kind of platform, that I share that so that it may reach somebody, for them to be able to call a number, to ask a friend, to do something, reach out and not just keep to themselves and fester in this stuff, that they don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I've faced a lot of depression over my life, and usually, I pretty rarely ever talk to anybody about it, but the music was a thing. And not even my music, just grabbing like really happy albums or a great song that I love and just playing that over and over again. And, doing the things that really bring joy to my life, just putting myself in that place. I've had this just odd affinity for beautiful, fragrant flowers. Mm-hmm. Right? And I just absolutely, maybe because my mother was such a gardener, and maybe because it reminds me of her, I will go there,
Right, and find those things.
Go to the botanical garden. I'll find myself from time to time looking back at bad memories, and I'm like, okay, does that really serve you? Don't push it down, but just right now, maybe you need to think about some of the great things that are happening and that have happened in your life, and take a different view of it. Think about the fortune that you've had.
And you know what, Lillian, you're talking about music, very powerful.
Yes.
Okay, but please do not go to, baby, I lost my baby.
No.
Okay? No lyrics, folks. Okay?
No lyrics?
No lyrics. Okay, not in the beginning, until you're able to be in a mindset where you can have happy songs.
There's one.
What?
And I just played it the other day. It was so silly. I was like asked to choose a song, and it was like, it's all I could think of. This is like my favorite song of all time. I'm so embarrassed. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
I get it. I love it. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Yeah. And I had one with, I know, this is so old, Barry Manilow.
Oh, yeah.
I made it through the rain. I made it through the rain. Mm-hmm. I mean, like songs of triumph.
Yes, exactly.
Songs of, hey, you know. Music is very, very powerful, but you have to select your music. I mean, because we also have music that can bring you all the way down.
Yes.
And the other thing is physicality. Moving your body, stretching your body, breathing, the deep breathing. You don't have an hour, you don't have 20 minutes. I don't care if you do 10 minutes. Do that. 10 minutes for yourself. Stretch your body, stretch your upper body, stretch your legs. Give yourself that time, because we hold a lot of the depression, the stress inside our body. Mm-hmm. You got to get that out too, and you'll feel light.
Yeah, it's for me, it's just so important to get outside and take a walk. Just get fresh air.
Yeah, I love taking a walk, and that's one thing about. I'm sorry to say this for all of those who are not living by the ocean.
Negative ions. Okay. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I moved back here.
Go there.
Okay, I have to go there. Mm-hmm. I go to that ocean, and the majesty of the Creator is there. It's like, oh my God, look how beautiful the water, the sun, even the clouds. I mean, you can feel their energy. Mm-hmm. We're all energy. And when you can feel that energy, and sometimes, and there'll be times where I don't feel like I want to walk right now, but I just want to get out there. And then by the time I get there, and maybe I'll need a few minutes to kind of like position myself or center myself, and then I just want to walk. Mm-hmm. I can speed walk, but I can also stroll.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can walk barefooted on the sand, which is great for your inner body, because all your nerve endings are in your feet. Oh. And so when you walk barefoot on the sand, it's stimulating all through your body. Okay. And you haven't really done like exerting a lot of energy, but you have in another way. Mm-hmm. And it is just the most beautiful. I mean, just your eyes taking all of it in, the sound.
So
that's such expression, you know?
For me, one of the things that I absolutely love about the ocean is the power of that boom when an enormous wave comes in. And I mean, it's like this deep bass, like, I am power. Whoa. You know, like, it's just, you know. One time I got out there many, many years ago and got on a boogie board. I got brave enough to be on the boogie board, and I actually caught a wave one time. Once.
I'm impressed.
And you should have heard me screaming, and everybody thought I was like having full trauma, and I was like, it was like the most thrilling, exciting, wonderful thing like ever. Like, it was the best. It was the best, And the ocean, it's really healing.
Yeah, even when I was in Chicago, I wasn't too far from the lake. And something about these large bodies of water, it was like my spot. I guess I kind of grew up not too far from the lake. I mean, I couldn't walk to the lake from where my house was when I grew up, but I knew it was there. Mm-hmm. But when I went back to Chicago, it was amazing. I had to go there. I'd walk there. It was probably about 6 blocks away. Just seeing all of this beautiful water. And by the beach, being in the middle of Chicago with all these amazing buildings, right? Mm. Just the whole landscape. Different than being out by the ocean, you know, and that. But the water, there's something about the water and peace.
Yeah.
And
you can get the same thing in the forest. I mean, not
in the forest. Yes.
There's a little trail over here that's just, oh my goodness, it's just so peaceful. But I remember reading about our immune system being really enhanced when we walk in the forest because of something that the trees give off that we're just breathing in.
I could see that. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. So it's being disembodied from the earth and from our natural environment is a huge stress in and of itself, and people don't think realize how critically important it is to take advantage of those open spaces and take that time to just give yourself that nourishment. It is nourishment, and it is essential.
Yeah, and I've learned the Native Americans, it's something they do. It's a quest. You go into a forest or you go on the beach, and you allow whatever you have an inclination to pick up, whether it be a leaf, a rock, a shell, some sand, or some soil. You have a little bag or a little container or whatever, and you put those items, because of where you are, especially if you have gone into that space with something in mind, that you are meditating, or that there's some energy, because we are energy, and you're gravitating to a shell or a rock or something like that. I love rocks. I have all kinds of different rocks. You have your own little kind of nature bag, so to speak, because like you were talking about the energy,
right,
in the forest and by the water and the sand and things like that. It's amazing. And I tell you who else has great energy, and that's animals.
Yeah. Yes.
Doggies and kitties, and you can see their innocence. They're beautiful little creatures, yeah. But we are energy, and once you understand that, and you see how you gravitate to another person, and you get comfortable with the fact that you are emitting this energy, then you understand the attraction that you are bringing in based on also how you're thinking. And that's one of the things that I had to work on, Lillian. I wasn't liking the attractions because I was still very incomplete in some aspects of my growth. I was attracting others that were there too in different ways. And I was kind of stepped back for a minute until I could get better, until I felt more comfortable with myself in order, basically, who I was attracting to me. And that's not just people, it's things, it's work, it's if you're writing, it's the words, it's the lyrics, it's the whole thing. It's very interesting. I find life to be quite amazing.
The one thing I keep hearing over and over again in the relationships that I've had that can't possibly be true. This can't be me. Can't be me. Nothing's ever enough for you. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that over the years.
But what does that mean, though? Nothing's ever enough for you. What does that mean?
I guess I'm just too demanding or too critical or just unsympathetic when it's not. When I think it's like, substandard. I'm not.
Maybe not the right space where someone would understand what is enough for you, or that you would feel more fulfilled.
I don't know, but I just know that that ultimately the message to me is like, I better just like wait until it is enough, Yeah, maybe you're not. And maybe I'm not so nice. Maybe I need to reevaluate how I express myself. I mean, maybe I have some growing to do around when I get frustrated and disenchanted, but
well, when you're on your path, when you're seeking, and I think both of us are seekers, it's not always perfect, but there are people that you attract that get it and others that don't. That was part of what I meant by, I said, who I was attracting, especially in my intimate life, because I've been there, done that. And I take responsibility for what I'm responsible for, and have forgiven everybody, not excused, but forgiven, so I can move on. But also to look at the mirror, look at me in the mirror,
right,
and say, what is it that you really need, or did you compromise? Were you authentic with yourself? I mean, where did that come from? But again, Lillian, it's growth.
Right.
It's growth. And so where I am now, I feel that my attraction is spot on. I've heard that too. It's never enough. I'm never enough. It's never, where did, this or that. And I knew then, when I do hear that, whether it's from a partner or employer or a stranger or whatever, that it's not the right place for me.
Yeah. I think I've walked to be taking full responsibility. I think I walked in knowing that I was not going to find it to be sufficient. I was making compromises. And not that they're so horrible, but it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't a match for me, right? And so,
So you learn.
Yeah.
You learn.
Yeah.
And so you do your takeaway, and that's what I tell people, and is you do your takeaway from the experience. And what did you take away? Give me your top 3, and then move forward. I mean, that's how you learn. Life is very interesting.
It is.
Very, very interesting.
I look forward to the rest of it.
Me too. Me too.
Recapping. That was Mojo, Men, Money, Mentors, Mistakes, Moving Forward with Mindfulness, Self-Mastery, Mental Health, Maneuvering Life with Fluidity, and Majesty. Download this episode and keep it handy for when you need a dose of Milana to help you get up and shine. We'll be right back. Ever thought that sharing your story might help someone else? Meet Milana Walter. Milana, tell our audience about your story your way.
Many, many times, hearing someone else's story gave me that jolt of hope needed at the time. Can your story help someone? At Your Story Your Way, we help you tell it as a short story, book, or script. No one knows your story better than you. So what are you waiting for? Visit yourstoryyourway.com.
Next week, we'll bring you the first of several episodes we'll prepare on coping with violence. Perhaps the worst thing on the planet and growing. Melanie Borden talks to us about finding her way through it and her commitment to spreading love. Next week on Get Up and Shine.
We'll return next Tuesday with more great content. Catch a preview at www.getupandShineShow.com and join the mailing list for access to great tools to help you. And remember, it's your time to get up and shine.